with the Lion.
The following is an EHC media production.
What's going on, RWT family and Smart Mark Radio listeners? This is your boy, Moses Marquez.
And I'm your boy, Emir, Blackbane, Costello.
And we are here to remind you guys to catch us each and every week on the Gorilla Position.
Yeah, man, it's our little show we got going on where we talk about all things wrestling. And Moses Marquez, what's your favorite thing to talk about?
My favorite thing to talk about is all the bullshit going on in the WWE, but then I like to sugar on a little bit of the awesomeness of the New Japan Pro Wrestling. What about yourself?
Yeah, man, I like talking about those things too. Not to mention AEW's coming out. Ring of Honor's awesome. And I don't know if anybody likes Impact, but fuck it. If they're making news, we're talking about them too.
We're talking about all this and more, guys. So again, catch us each and every week on soundcloud.com/smartmarkradio, and of course on the RWT YouTube page. Every week, a new episode of the Gorilla Position will be up. So we'll catch you around the bend, boys and girls. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
For honest, uncut, and often controversial coverage of all things wrestling, there's one place to get it, with some good old banter thrown in.
Join the Butcher and myself, two-time Knowledge Champion Mike Larkin, along with your host Dazzy Dangerously, every Friday for the Max Wrestling Podcast, with championship specials every 2 to 3 months.
WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and the company with many names and more.
On Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podomatic, iTunes, and Stitcher.
We must now bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bam!
EWA.
Do you play WWE 2K18 on the PS4? Would you like to play against other like-minded players in a very unique online league that's unique because we are more committed to storylines than just a straight-up competitive league. The league is still very competitive, but we also try to run things like a bit of a TV show. Check out the YouTube channel and the Facebook page in the description below if you're interested.
Fans, RWT fans, Smart Mark Radio listeners, this is none other than your boy Moses Marquez, and I'm back. And Happy New Year, by the way. And with the Happy New Year, and a new year being the key words in that, we have a new show. As you can tell by the music, I think we're going a little retro, as we're going to call it. As some of you have already seen in the last month, there was a little bit of a commercial, if you will, a little promo. The Smart Mark Radio, in association with RWT, is bringing you the Retro Rewind with none other than Emir, Blackbane, Costello, myself, Mr. Moses Marquez, and our third and very special co-host. And I would personally like to thank him for coming back to the page and being our third co-host, Mr. Paul Morales. Both Emir and Paul will be joining me in just a minute. So we're going to be actually talking the 2005 New Year's resolution show, because it is New Year's. What better way to do it than the first New Year's resolution show, again, 2005. And I'm just going to say this. I have no fucking clue why I picked this show. And let me just say, if the ending wasn't what it was, I would have been very, very upset with this show. So hang on a sec. I'll get these guys on the line. Okay, we're back. Paul Morales making his surprise return for the new year. Emir Blackbane Costello, my constant co-host. How are you, gentlemen? No, nobody. Nobody's gonna respond.
No, nobody. Nobody's gonna respond. I guess we're not here.
I don't know. I'm here, man. Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year, 2019. Woo! How's everybody feeling?
like
I'm
shit
feeling.
because we watched this fucking show.
No kidding.
This fucking
That was yeah. That was a throwback to a time when, yeah, wrestling was something.
It was a throwback to the time where we realized everybody was falling off of wrestling, and now we see why.
Right.
It was just
Right.
it was
I
just
think
really
we
bad.
I think we picked a show. I think we picked a pay-per-view that was okay.
Okay, is
For
definitely
this time, it was okay.
Y'all tripping.
It was an episode of Raw.
No
Okay.
way. No way.
it was more
no
like an
way.
episode of Heat.
I had that pay-per-view on par with NXT. Get out of here, man.
What fucking
Get
NXT
the
back when it was a
hell outta
variety
here.
show?
You know what? You might as well hang up the phone now.
I'm not saying the whole dude.
Stop this broadcast now.
That was a solid pay-per-view compared to what we see today.
Solid?
Come on, man.
That was no.
Solid
Today,
piece of shit.
today's pay-per-views, we at minimum get like 1 or 2 decent matches in the middle. You know how many good matches were in the middle of this show? None. Not a fucking one.
You're crazy.
They were
You're
all
cra-
god awful.
No, it was so good to see, dude. Everybody was so good, dude. Like Kane. Did you see Kane? Did you see what shape Kane was in back then?
Oh my. Okay, so if we're talking about guys in shape, okay. Lita fucking tears her knee apart. 35 seconds into the match.
Okay,
Eugene
but to be
looks
fair,
good,
she almost
and he
committed suicide the
dislocates his
match before with
kneecap.
that dolphin flop, so that doesn't count.
Eugene dislocates his
jeez.
kneecap in what was a mediocre match to say the least. The
Every-
Hassan,
The first three, the first 2 matches had injuries, but wait, hang on. Are we just gonna talk randomly about this stuff, or are we gonna go match by match?
We're gonna go match by match. Okay, yeah, I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Okay, if nobody knows what the hell we're talking about, we are reviewing New Year's Revolution 2005.
Resolution.
2005 New Year's fucking
Yeah,
revolution.
we might as well call it a resolution because we ain't doing that one again.
It was.
You guys, it's gonna be a long show for me because y'all
my
tripping.
New Year's resolution is never watching New Year's Revolution 2005 again.
Again,
I'll watch it again right now. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Let's Moses Marquez, you are the host with the most, man. Lead us in the battle,
I will
sir.
lead us through this thing. This is like my first bad sign that I knew that I shouldn't have picked this pay-per-view. The first match was a tag team title match. Eugene and William Ringles, the current Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on the incredible team of I fucking forgot who the hell he was until I saw him.
You
Christian
know what?
Cage
that
and
even,
Tyson
you know what?
Tomko.
I swear, when they said World Tag Team Championship match, I'm
And Tomko
thinking
came out.
somebody who was not Eugene and William Ringo.
Well, my biggest, like I said, my
And
biggest
I
thing
don't
was
even know
fucking
half of the
Tomko.
damn tag teams that were then.
Tomko was like my biggest surprise. I remember his very small stint in TNA. It was, but you want to know what it started out bad when I saw guys come out, but it was great because I got to hear the best commentary team in the history of professional wrestling, and that's Jerry the King Lawler
Yes,
and Jim
hands down.
Ross. Okay,
All right, here's the thing too. You guys, I don't know why you guys are grading this pay-per-view so harshly. So I kind of went like, what do I like about this? What am I seeing in this match that it's like, oh, that's good. I missed that because that's not happening today. And off the top, can we just talk about how beautiful those tag team titles were?
Yes. I'll
better
give
than
you
these
that one.
fucking pennies now.
I mean,
Yeah, they look like silver dollars now.
Now the next thing is this. That tag team match was shitty, but I will say this. I really enjoyed how over Eugene was with the crowd.
Okay, I will admit I was definitely entertained.
What I didn't like,
I'll give you that one because at the time, Eugene was over.
Rocking the Eugene
Very
Hulkamania
over.
shirt. It was awesome.
All right. Here's one thing I didn't like about that match. Well, it's not the one thing, but it's the thing I didn't like the most about that match was, remember when Owen Hart dropped Stone Cold, like he did a power driver on his head, but for some reason, even though Stone Cold had a broken neck and could hardly move, they were like, you still have to win the match. And Stone Cold crawled over to Owen Hart with his forearms, no less, and did the weakest roll-up in the history of man because he had a broken neck. And then Owen Hart still allowed himself to be pinned, which was a weird way to end that match. So, like, when Eugene is injured, gets his knee hurt, and then he rolls up Tyson Tomko, and it's like, okay, I get it. For some reason, Eugene must still win the match, even though he's clearly injured. But maybe kick your legs a little bit and look like you're struggling, as opposed to like there was no competition at that point. I know you had to end the match, but at least make it look like a struggle versus he just rolled you up, you laid there until the count of 3, and then you rolled out of the ring, obviously just ending the match. You know what I mean? Or am I crazy?
Hell no. Fucking Eugene looked at him and he said, look here, dude, my knee is fucked. Take it home.
Here's what got me. I'll even fast forward past that. Did you know that they lost the titles?
I did not know. I had no recollection that they were even tag team champions.
They actually lost them at a house show not a few days later, and the replacement for Eugene was Jonathan Coachman.
Oh my god. He was terrible for his 10 minutes of commentary. And the team that they lost to,
La Resistance.
That I do remember.
Rene Dupree.
Yeah, Rene Dupree and Rob Conway. Rob Conway.
Let me ask you a question.
What a French name.
Moses Marquez. In the RWT group, everybody's always saying, like, if people are talking about who their favorite wrestlers of all time, there'll be a guy like Harold Joseph Hunter III who'll be like, Regal's in my top 5. And then a bunch of other people will be like, oh, Regal's this and Regal's that. When I saw Regal wrestle in that match, when he got off the ground, when he left his feet to do a drop kick, I was like, oh my God, don't hurt yourself. Like, am I missing something? What was so good about Regal?
The thing about Regal was that like technical guy who was a good worker. He sold well. He was the worker. That was his thing. He was like the Zack Sabre of his day, but he's a manly man.
Such a man.
He's the manly man.
He's the manly man.
But yeah, no kidding. I still remember that one like it was yesterday. I so do. I still remember that character, flannel, and everything. Flannel and all.
He was Steven Regal back then, right?
Steven Regal, yes.
Yeah, Steven Regal. Oh man,
it was great.
He was like the man's man.
It was absolutely great. I mean, like I said, he was the technical guy, but I mean, I don't know. I guess he was more or less technical than, I don't know, like Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko wasn't over with a lot of people. Like a lot of like diehard fans loved Dean Malenko, but a lot of regular casual fans hated Dean Malenko
because he has no charisma. He's a great wrestler, but his face is so
charisma. Is just like an understatement.
His face is so bland.
Yeah, and the therapy
like he doesn't have any real emotional facial, like he doesn't make any faces. Nothing.
It's referred to as flat affect.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So he's not making it. There's no emotion in his face, and so it just makes it's boring. I like Dean Malenko. I'm just saying that's part of selling is like make it look like it hurts or like you're tired or whatever. Do something, man.
Yeah, but he was just that typical wrestler. If you in the ring, he's a wrestler. Outside the ring, he was nothing. He had no facial expressions, no nothing. So technically,
no personality.
Just inside that ring, he was fine. He was a great wrestler.
How about this? As we continue to review old pay-per-views, I'm going to be the guy who points out all the things that happened back then that would never fly today. Starting with the fact that WWE had a character who was pretending to be mentally challenged.
Oh, there's no way that's happening now, considering their relationship with the Special Olympics and all that stuff. They would absolutely freak out.
Yeah, exactly. That would not fly. Anti-bullying campaigns with the general manager. What the hell's his damn name again? Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff.
How he would run how he would run Eugene crazy and make him do things, that were out of the ordinary.
Okay, so hold on. I got to interrupt you really
Make fun
quick.
of him, mock him, and stuff like that. And then other wrestlers were mocking him. Yeah, that wouldn't fly today.
Okay, first off, Eric Bischoff being back as Raw, GM, I don't know why I loved it, but I loved it. Am I the only one that loved it?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. He was on the side of the authority, but he wasn't on the side of authority, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
I loved it, but if I'm going to be nitpicky, the thing that I really didn't like was his music, because I feel like the first time he comes out and the music is like, I'm back.
That's the greatest
I'm like
GM music possible.
Yeah, it's like, good, he's back. But when you're 2 years in and it's still saying, it's like, well, okay, we get it. You're not back. You're here.
I'll give you the theme. Okay, I'll give you the theme music and the fact that was the most boring part of it. But other than that, I loved him as a GM.
Yeah, he was great.
I loved him as a GM,
and I didn't think he deserved to be thrown in the back of a garbage truck.
No, not at all. But I got to talk about this match a little bit. It started off kind of just I don't know, just slow, very technical. But I got to mention Eugene's freaking leapfrog. Is it me, or did he get 6 freaking stories high? Okay, this was the fucking highest leapfrog I've ever seen.
That? Dude,
did you?
That was some fucking Evan Bourne shit.
All right, let's just do some
Ricochet.
Off of the damn ropes, and I was like, damn, what the hell?
So he jumps high in a leapfrog, and he's okay. But he jumps up to do a drop kick and dislocates his kneecap.
It ruptures his tendon in his knee.
So I just want to understand, why does he have so much range? How come there's one jump where he's damn near touching the ceiling and he's fine, and then there's a little jump where he does a drop kick and then he's injured, he's out of wrestling?
No, you want to know what did it? When he was on the apron, Christian came around, grabbed him by his leg, and the way he landed, it looked like he landed awkwardly, but yet he still got up off the ground onto the apron, and then when he got tagged in, and then started doing everything, I think that's kind of where it started. Okay. Because it was an awkward landing, and then he fell down to the ground, and then he got back up, tagged in.
Yeah, and then he landed on his own knee after that drop kick.
And then did the drop kick, and then he grabs his leg. He grabs his knee immediately.
Yeah, and they had an immediate update. He blew his patella tendon or something like that. It's like, Jesus Christ. You did this, exactly how we're saying. You did this crazy leapfrog. You did a half-ass drop kick, and you blew your fucking knee out. So, at least he wasn't getting blown up like Tyson Tomko. Half the time, all of a sudden, he does a couple of moves and then rest hold, and a couple of moves and then a rest hold. I felt like I was watching Baron Corbin, but he was bigger and bald. Well, no, Corbin's bald too.
Yeah,
just bigger beard.
Yeah, well, now he is.
Yeah.
Then he just had long hair. Then he just had long hair with a very, very bad bald spot in the back of his head. So
I loved Eugene doing that Hulk Hogan spot, and in reference to you guys mentioning the fact that we were immediately updated on what type of injury he had. That's another thing that wouldn't happen today. People get injured and you have to wait till the next night on Raw, or the dirt sheets will go we think this is what happened. But it was Eugene got injured. He was taken back to the back, and immediately they're here's a full diagnosis on Eugene. First of all, he's Eugene. Why do we even need an update? Who cares?
What do you mean everybody cares? Eugene was the most over guy in the whole fucking show.
Boo!
He was today's Elias
at that time.
You relax. That wasn't even it. That was not even in, dude. Because we're giving an update. We didn't have Twitter back then. Where we were just hey, let's jump on Twitter and let's see what happened to Eugene.
That's
Would
true.
you do that?
They're not gonna give an update on over a tweet saying, "Oh, during the first match, that he ruptured his patella, tendon, and give a whole diagnosis of what happened."
That's what I guess. I that's the part I forgot. So I forget that back then there was social media, but it was a little something called MySpace.
Oh yeah, your face is what I used to make fun of it.
And just so you know, William Regal became the tag team champion again in February, which would be about a month later. And his tag team partner was Tajiri.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's right. The famous tag team of Tajiri and William Regal. Freaking love it. It's awesome.
That was cool. I got to admit, that was a cool tag team.
No, definitely was. They were
One
very
didn't
entertaining.
one spoke very bad English, and the other one spoke very bad English.
One spoke proper English and one spoke broken English, and they were a match made in heaven. So yeah,
okay, we could call it that too.
Once Eugene knew he blew his knee out, they fucking called it home. Roll up 1, 2, 3. Fucking Tom Cole lays on there like
that was
a dead
horrible.
fish.
Oh my God! It was like he just grabbed him by his tights, pulled him back. He laid down. All Eugene did was just kind of turn over, and then 1, 2, 3, and then let go, and then Tom Cole rolls out, and then he's still sitting there grabbing his knee, while William Regal's sitting on the canvas, holding his face because he's got his nose broken.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. Whoever books the end of the match like that, it's like, okay, now he's hurt. Maybe tag out for William Regal, because you can't do both of these things. You can't have him roll up his opponent, which means that you put pressure on this guy to the point to where he was unable to kick out. And then after you roll him up for the victory, you then lay in the ring for the next 10 minutes, unable to move.
Yeah, it was
exactly.
It was terrible. So before we get to one of the better parts of the whole show, what are we giving this star rating?
1.
A 1?
And that's
Again, we're not going to have it. We're not going to corner that
generous.
shit.
1.5.
You're going to do the half?
Man,
okay, I say 2, and mainly just because Eugene doing the
I'll give it a
spots.
solid 1. Here, I'll give it a solid 1 because of Eugene and just his character in general.
I'll give it the 2
because,
for you. Just Eugene alone was just beyond over. So that's the only reason I give it a 2.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm giving it the solid 1, and then I'll give it the half because I like William Regal, and he's cool.
So, in true WWE fashion, prior to, say, 2010, just hot ladies all the time, anywhere they can get them out there. They're out poolside in Puerto Rico, and Christy Hemming in her bikini. Not JR, but the King Goes Nuts, as he does from all of our childhood memories.
Wasn't I invited? Why wasn't I out there? Who didn't give me the memo?
I like what King's like, oh, look at it.
Not who didn't send me the tweet, but who didn't send me the memo.
King sees Christy. He goes, yeah, she's out there walking her titties. Right? That's what he said. She's out there walking
her puppies.
Yeah, same shit. That's what I liked about King. Actually, throughout the whole show, you realize something. If Jerry the King Lawler would not survive the Me Too movement, like there's a reason why he's not on TV anymore, because they would have Me Too'd him to death. Like all the stuff he was saying on TV where everybody could hear it was like so rapey. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
And yet he still had a full-time job.
You have to remember the pay-per-views were a little different. Now on TV, yes, he did the exact same thing. So yes, he would not be on TV. So how he was on the pay-per-view was a little bit more explicit, but I still think or a little bit more reserved. But I think he's even more reserved on TV. Now it's like, now he's just on the pre-show. He'll say a few things. That's it.
Well, yeah, they made him tone it down. They're like, look at here, we're so freaking PG right now. You can't say puppies because people already knows what you mean. You mean tits. And
that's why Al Snow's theme song would never work in 2018. What does everybody want? Head. What does everybody need? Yeah, man, that wouldn't be a thing.
Okay, so does anybody else feel
even
weird?
Val Venus would not survive right now.
No,
Val
he would
Venus
not.
Would die.
But did anybody else feel weird about Edge's goatee? It just tripped me out when I seen him in the back with his random ass little goatee.
It's kind of this thing where I forgot that Edge was that character, but then after 2005's New Year's show went off, 2006 immediately came on, and the first match was Edge, and when he came out a year later, he was the rated R superstar, and I was like, there you go. But what I liked about seeing Edge is I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. They used to actually have backstage segments to pump up the main event. That was so cool because the main event is not a thing now, because the main event's like Brock Lesnar, and everybody knows he's going to come out and do 56 suplexes and the match is going to end. But back then, they actually promoted the main event throughout the entire show. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was definitely refreshing compared to now.
That was a different. There was a big difference between how you see it, how the production was run then, and how you see it now. So much of a huge difference.
A difference for sure. So speaking of a difference, divas are a thing. Well, no, actually, no. It's still the women's championship. Lita, Trish, they just had like a excellent match. Probably one of the better women's matches ever. At least for the WWE in that era, on Raw. I want to say it was like 2 weeks prior to this pay-per-view, and then they get ready for this match. They had this awesome promo showing off Trish in her lovely Maid of Honor costume. I can watch that part of the show all fucking day long. The rest of it, not so much. But, I mean, they had a great match in Survivor Series. They had a great match on Raw. They came out here. They tried to have a third great match. Lita blows her fucking knee out. They take it home. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, another injury? This is crazy.
Yeah, it was like one right after the other, and all she did was just try and do a Luthez press off of the mat. All she did was just try and jump on top of her. You see the way, and again, back to how Eugene did it. You see the way the way Lita landed. And it was like, you see her immediately grab her leg. And it was like, okay, what do you do now? You're literally like 30 seconds into the match, a minute into the match. And her knees messed up. So then, Trish gets her back in the ring, starts working on her other knee. And then accidentally kicks her other knee.
Yeah, the one that's all fucked up.
Yeah, the one that's all messed up, and then she says, oops. She literally tells her, oops.
No, I saw that. Like, what the fuck?
It was kind of sad because after watching the promo about what they'd been through the past few months, I was so hyped up. I was like, yo, this is about to be a bomb match. Because, let's face it, it's 2005. I don't fucking remember the pay-per-view.
Fuck no.
So it's like I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm like, yo, this match is about to be awesome. And then they came out and laid an egg, and I was like, come on. Just like I remember the Divas.
It's exactly what it was back then.
Come on, man. I mean, okay. We'll go back. Okay, not 3 weeks earlier, they main evented Raw. First ever women's match to ever main event Raw, and they killed it. Here we are 3 weeks later, and they bombed. The injury within a minute, then it was like tippy-toe around it. 2 minutes later, the match is over.
So just like that, the newscaster on South Park, it's like, oh my God, women's wrestling is great, and we're back.
And it's gone. But, I mean, it is what it is. They try to go out there. They try to make a statement. They try to top all the success that they were having. Prior to that, it didn't work out. Later gets escorted, help to the back. Then we go to another backstage segment. Edge is talking to Eric
And that
Bischoff.
was the end of their feud.
Well,
because
I mean,
she blew her knee.
She had taken a dang near year hiatus for her broken neck, and then she blew her knee out. Like, what more are you supposed to do? Of course you're going to cancel a feud. I mean,
it was like right after that. And then she made fun of Lita, and then came out and chokeslammed her 2 weeks later.
That was dope.
That was dope.
Yeah, and that was dope. But I kid you not. And then when I was like, okay, on there on the network, it shows you, it gives you the raw before and the raw after. So I watched it, and then I go, okay, well then it gave me the raw a week after. So then I started watching it, and I'm like, and I was like, and I started getting hooked. I was like, I'm watching it, and I'm all like, oh yeah, what's gonna happen next? Oh yeah, what's gonna happen next? Yeah, I got sucked in.
I got a quick sidebar because I just want to understand something. WWE is going out of their way to go like, we're not allowed to have mixed gender matches, and if they do, the men are never allowed to touch the women. So like, obviously, if it's 2 guys in there and a guy tags out to his female partner, then the female of the other team has to tag out. So they don't want these people touching each other now. But if you look back in like 2005 and like even prior to that, and like in the Attitude Era, like there was a time where the 2-man power trip of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H just sat around and whooped Lita's ass. I mean, just whooped, just dogged her. You know what I mean? Just beat her like she stole something. So, and you just mentioned like, oh, Kane just came out and chokeslammed Trish Stratus. No big deal. Like,
well, because yeah, exactly. And it's like you don't hear that now. And I mean, and you look at the promo. Look at the promo for okay. Now I'm kind of gonna go a little ahead of us. Look at the promo for Kane and Snitsky. He hit Lita. He not only hit Lita, he ended up hitting one of the other divas, and it was just because they were in the ring, and it wasn't like it was intentional. It was still unintentional, but yet you still did it.
Hold on, wait a minute. Don't you dare overlook the fact that he punted that poor child halfway across the arena.
That baby?
Right? The fake baby?
The fake baby.
That baby.
He pulled a Daniel Bryan. He almost hit a man, or he almost hit a woman with a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, when Kane and Lita were getting married on Raw, I was in the crowd, bro.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was there.
Was it glorious looking crazy at Trish in her all white bridesmaid's outfit?
You know what's so funny?
Yeah, that was funny.
I forgot that.
Sure, let's go.
Oh, here's another thing. When they showed her wearing that mask to cover her nose or whatever, it made me think of the fact that must have been around the same time that her and Vince had filmed that Monday Night Football segment. Are you ready for some wrestling? Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that.
With him and like they were like she was in a towel and Shelton Benjamin was in her locker room and he's like, well, Shelton, I don't know if you realize this, but you're an African American.
You're an African American.
You gotta admit the racist and sexist shit that used to go on in WWE was like, it was like out there. It wasn't even like hidden or anything. That shit was like, here we are.
Yep.
I'm gonna be sexist and I'm gonna be racist.
My all-time favorite, Vince McMahon walking up to John Cena. What's up, my nigga? And then Booker T standing right there. Tell me he did just say that.
Oh, but Booker, he did. He just said it.
Oh my goodness.
Back then was definitely a different time. You got away with a lot more. They're like, everybody's like, oh, they're more focused on wrestling. No, they just know what all the bad shit they used to do, and they know like if they fuck up one more time, they're off TV.
Oh yeah.
That's why CM Punk, when he dropped the pipe bomb right before they cut his microphone off, he's like, let me tell you how much of a joke this company is. They got Vince McMahon has his anti-bullying campaign. Let me tell you a story about Vince McMahon. And they were like, oh, cut the fucking microphone.
Like, nope.
Exactly.
You're 5 minutes
They're like, they don't need to hear this. They don't need to hear this. Cut it.
Exactly.
Anyways, so it was just the quick backstage segment with Edge and Bischoff, Christian, Tom Cole, they're all back there. Edge has this idea of swapping positions, letting Christian into the title match. That way he doesn't risk his body. He's going to put himself in danger because he doesn't care about the fans. He doesn't care about the You know, the people that invested in the show, he cares about himself. So shoots him down, and then I love the segment backstage when Shawnee's standing there all nonchalant in his fucking ref outfit. And he's just like, if I'm just so happy to be provoked, I'm going to have to retaliate physically. And Ed's just like, oh, you son of a bitch. It was... I mean, like, he had no real comeback. I mean, but it was just... It was hilarious. Seeing Shawn Michaels now, and then if I see a picture of him today, I think I'm just going to be sad. Because I miss the hair, I miss the young.
I honestly like this because this is the seed. These are the seeds that were planted for him becoming the Rated R superstar.
By the way,
I liked it because he went from being this tag team guy to now being this heel. Not that he wasn't before, but I mean this main event heel to where he's so disliked. Everybody likes him.
And they alluded to during Edge's entrance. This is to give you an idea of where he was in his career. So Edge finished off when he retired. He was like what, a 12, 13-time champion at that point.
I believe so.
When he made his entrance in 2005 into the Elimination Chamber, they made it clear like this is a man who's never won a world title. I was like, wow. So this is we go from years later when he retires at 12-time or 13-time champion, whatever it was, to seeing him in a match where he had never even held the gold before.
Yeah, exactly. And you see how far, and look at how, okay, you said it jumped to the following year where he was already the Rated R superstar.
And had Lita at his side. Yep. He was in the first match against Ric Flair.
Yeah. Yeah. And then these were the fact is that you have to remember that after it was right after WrestleMania was when they did the first draft, right? Or second one.
I want to say the second.
No, I think no, because I think 2002 was the first draft, wasn't it? Something like that.
I'll tell you this too. When he came out,
anyways, because I know. Okay, because Batista won the title at WrestleMania, and then he went over to SmackDown.
Right.
That much I do remember. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that John Cena came over with the WWE title, and it became the focal point of Raw going forward on Raw. And somewhere along the line, you remember that he became WWE champion first, wasn't it? Edge. I mean.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he started off first as WWE champion. I want to say that was his first one.
Yeah, that's when he changed the spinner on it to the Rated R thing.
Yeah. By the way, as I alluded to, when he came out at New Year's Revolution 2006, he had the Money in the Bank briefcase, so he must have became champion for the first time after cashing that in.
Yeah. See, so that's what I mean. He was. I knew it was somewhere after that. But still, the fact is that that was the transition for him, and I loved it all the way through. The rest from then on, I loved it. I loved everything about it. Face, heel, everything. Hands down.
Fully agreed. So Edge is actually a 11-time world champion, 7-time world heavyweight, 4-time WWE. Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, Grand Slam, Hall of Famer, 2 Slammies, 12-time tag team champion, or actually 14-time, and a little bit of history.
Hall of Fame ring.
and one more awesome tidbit: he is a former WCW United States champion.
And believe me, he'll end up a 2-time Hall of Famer at some point, because he's going to end up in there as a tag team with Edge and with him and Christian.
I sure hope so. And then to answer your question, the first draft was in 2002, March 25th, was the start of the expansion. So I want to get to this match. I got really excited when I heard Shelton Benjamin's old music. Like, I miss that music.
Ain't no stopping me. No.
You
Everybody
can't stop me. We're going to give it to you. Yeah, it was good, man.
It's great. I hate his new music now. It's just kind of shit. But Like, I was excited for this match, and then when I saw like what the feud was building up to, I was like, "Oh fuck, Maven was still wrestling at this time," and then out comes this fucking loser, and it was a wasted match. It was what I watched during that time.
It was a waste of
Heat.
2 victories on the same person in less than 7 seconds between both matches.
Well, like I said, not
Between
only
with both wins equaling about 7 seconds.
well, that's what I'm saying. But not only that, but it's like fucking Maven. Like, what?
Okay, this is where you and I differ from you two, because where I was thinking, so my notes on this match, I wrote Maven, great heel work. So I remember Maven as being like complete trash, but when I saw him tonight, and I saw how well he worked that crowd, and how he was so good at like getting them to be pissed off and getting them to react with negativity, I was like, wow, Maven was actually a pretty good heel. The thing that I couldn't stand is, let's see, the roll up. When Maven got rolled up, I have the same complaint about him that I had earlier in the night about Tyson Tomko, which is that when Shelton Benjamin rolled him up, he didn't kick his legs. There was no struggle. He just allowed himself to be rolled up, and then he got counted 1, 2, 3. And then afterward, he was like, "What? He rolled me up?" Like, it was like, dude,
No, you're not wrong.
Maybe put a little bit of struggle into
He's
it.
like, hey, that
make
one
it seem
didn't
like you were
count.
trying to get out of it at least. You know what I mean?
He's like, that one didn't count. No, I fully understand. Like, I'm with you on that. When you get fucking put in a roll up, give me some goddamn struggle. Show me that you want to kick out of this fucking thing. Don't just fucking lay there like an asshole because you know you're supposed to do the goddamn job. Like,
and also, if you're not going to struggle, then don't jump up afterward and be like, what happened?
exactly.
I don't understand.
Like, what the hell? But like I said, it was.
And then you walk back. Comes back into the ring. You try and attack him, and then all he does is give you a Northern Lights, and then boom, that's it.
Exactly, that was it. It was ball game. He tells him that him and I love the line though by Maven. He's like, "You and the women's champion have something in common. You both have belts, and you got no huevos." I'm like, "Oh," he said, "huevos on the pay-per-view."
Yeah,
And then what made it worse is that just like typical of Raw now, or most of WWE television now, the following night on Raw, they're in a match again. This time to qualify for the Royal Rumble, and it was basically the same thing that happened. He just basically like hit him a couple of times, rolled him up, pinned him. That was it. It was over.
My note on Shelton Benjamin, as I looked at him as he comes out as the Intercontinental Champion, and then I thought to myself, oh, he's in WWE now all these years later. And my note on him was, Shelton Benjamin never made it past mid-card.
That's the truth. Never did. I think his biggest spotlight was facing Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. But at least with Shawn Michaels, he had that great spot where Shawn Michaels kicked him out of the fucking air. At least I remember him for that. But there's never been like he was so you're right, just like Kofi, he was so celebrated for his athleticism and just never got out of the mid card. I don't get it.
Okay, but look, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Did Shelton Benjamin not have this most excellent match with Triple H and beat him, and then never got a chance at the title?
Right,
You're
but Triple H is racist.
Okay, so you're not wrong at all either.
Let me tell you why Triple H is racist. Because Triple H is a guy who stood in Booker T's face and went like, "Hey, boy," as in I'm a white guy calling you a black guy. The word "boy," serious racial overtones. You don't deserve to wear this. Like, people like you don't get to wear this belt. And he was purposely using racist terms towards Booker T and being like way overboard with the racism just to like get people filled up and get people angry. And then Booker T was supposed to win the match, and Triple H politicked and said like, "Nah, I think I need to win the match." So here's the thing: if you're gonna be racist when Booker T wins and becomes champion, then fine, it all made sense. But if you're gonna be racist and tell the black guy in front of the whole world that he doesn't belong holding the belt because he's a black guy, and then you go out there and beat him, That's just being fucking racist.
He's being absolutely 1,000% racist.
Exactly, that's what it is.
So I'm not surprised that that happened that way with Shelton Benjamin too. You know what I mean?
That's like you could say you could paint a cow purple, but guess what? It's still a cow.
It is still a cow. So I just got to say this fucking show sucks so far. And then I saw more beautiful ladies, and I thought to myself, this show's awesome. This show's awesome.
Yeah, if Emir wants to continue to keep saying that this show was awesome and that there were so many great things about it, I'm about ready to come to this phone and start beating his ass.
This is what I mean when I say it was awesome. It's like if you were old enough to play Atari, and then somebody
look at now. Wait. Now you're just trying to say I'm old.
Well, yeah, that's right. I'm just going specifically at you, Paul Morales. Somebody puts in.
I got it. Okay.
All right. Somebody puts an Atari in front of you, and you're like, "Holy shit! I remember this thing. This is pretty cool. This is like I'm experiencing some nostalgia. Like they don't make games like this anymore." But then maybe 10 minutes later, you're like, all right, time to go back to PS4. So what I'm saying is, it's not that the pay-per-view was so great, but there were little things that I like. Earl Hebner refereed a match. I missed that, man. Moses Marquez mentioned Jerry King Lawler and Jim Ross being on commentary. I miss stuff like that. Those are the things that are like, oh shit, that's what made stuff good back then, and we don't have that anymore. You know what I mean?
That commentary made everything good, even the shittiest of
that
matches.
I can admit, because as much as I dog Corey Graves for being on both shows, I get it, because they need somebody that's that.
But he sucks.
That could be that heel on both shows.
He's versatile.
And he's very versatile. You could see it. You could see it from beginning to end. You could see it how he is on Raw, and you could see how much it has a slight. It's a little different than the way he is on SmackDown. But to me, it's like I want two different commentary booths. It's weird because when they do go to Fox Sports, it's going to change.
Well,
so he may actually, from what I'm reading and what I've been hearing, he may actually just be going to SmackDown.
Yeah, but I think because they need Corey Graves to be the Michael Cole of SmackDown. They're grooming him to be the face of the commentary team.
Yeah, and Michael Cole is strictly just going to be on Raw.
As long as he's paired with Daniel Cormier, I'll be happy.
It may be him and somebody else, and Renee Young.
Like I said, as long as they pay him with
who it is, I have no idea.
Pair him with Daniel Cormier. That's what I say.
It's weird because you know what? They're actually throwing out sports figures as to names that could be a possible actually sit in the commentary, but they want somebody who knows wrestling, who is very into wrestling, and not just somebody who's going to come in and just be a voice.
You know they gotta get that commentator from that movie Dodgeball.
Oh yeah, he'd be the greatest.
I think he just hit him with a clothesline, Cotton.
oh, that one.
Joe Tessitore out there. He's gonna be out there, and look at what happened here. He's gonna. It was funny. I just got through watching boxing on ESPN2, and guess who the commentator was? It was Joe Tessitore. So I was like, I can honestly hear him. I can honestly hear him calling WWE wrestling. That would be funny. I'm sorry, but that would be funny.
It would be funny, and something that they thought was going to be funny, and that's this Muhammad Hassan feud with Jerry Lawler, and it was just god fucking awful. Like, the match was awful, the promos were awful, everything about it was awful.
Look. We'll save face here. We'll mention the match. This was just horrible. This was the most horrible fucking thing that I think WWE continued to do for only maybe another year or two before they actually just got rid of the character altogether.
Paul Morales,
what?
You were wrong. They did not. Well, okay, I will say this: they may have gotten rid of the character at the time, but they resurrected the character later on in 2017 because, according to my notes, Muhammad Hassan is just the original Jinder Mahal. Now,
I knew you were going to go there.
Hey, stay with me.
Damn it, I knew you were going to go there. I was trying to stay away from Jinder Mahal.
No,
Come
you got
on,
to go. No, aside from the Middle East thing,
your heart on for Jinder. You need to go deal with that right about now.
I'm gonna tell you, this is not a praise of Jinder. This is a criticism. I'm shocked too. I'm saddened that I have to go there right now because I never hindered Jinder. You understand? Shanti. But here we go. Muhammad Hassan is like this fantastic looking guy. His physique amazing, and then he gets in there. Like, first of all, he's just like Jinder with the whole Middle Eastern thing. They also both have great physiques, but he doesn't know how to be a heel. Like,
Jinder's from India.
Yeah. I'm an ignorant American. We get it. So what I'm trying to say is, he doesn't know how to be a heel. His idea of being a heel is, I'm gonna say bad things and try to get the crowd to sympathize with me. Like I'm a victim, and you guys are also all victims. So it's a waste of mic work. And then when he gets in the ring, he's like, I'm just going to body slam Jerry the King Lawler 8 fucking times.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to put him in the camel clutch 4 times, and then I'm going to hit him with a reverse STO and then pin him. No one on commentary, so we didn't get to hear no analysis.
That was kind of like the weirdest part too. Like, I'm really used to commentary. Like, I'm not mad that I didn't have it, but it was just weird. And then all of a sudden, it was a boom, it was a finish, and you're like, Muhammad Hassan really won this fucking match? And yes, he really won this match.
One thing I liked about the match was I liked Jerry Lawler's face when he started doing like the comeback. But you could see like the anger in his face, like. But what didn't make sense to me, if in the very next match you're going to have a heel Jonathan Coachman come out and join commentary, couldn't he have been on commentary during the fucking match?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Why the hell was he backstage? Why didn't you have him come out and do the commentary while the match was going on?
Because
it's like,
too busy shining Vince McMahon's goddamn
my other
shoes.
Co-host, Jonathan Coachman,
and getting him his
and
fucking
I'm like,
coffee.
I'm gonna give you one of these. Like, what the hell was that, dude? Why was he not out there beforehand?
Yeah, it was a little. It's like you were there the whole time. Then come out and do your job, jabroni.
Fuck no, he's not gonna do his job.
I was in the back. I was just relaxing back there and and
doing the Charleston.
He was making sure Vince McMahon's steak was cooked to perfection.
The Rock was making him do the Charleston.
He has so many fucking alibis, but we have no idea which one actually would stick. So I'm not gonna go over this match at all. It was utter crap. And then all of a sudden we get a backstage heat. I gave it 0 stars. 0. If I could give it negative stars, I would give it negative stars.
I wouldn't even waste my breath even giving it a star.
You know what? You guys are starting to change my opinion. I thought this pay-per-view was good. And now that we're talking about it, it was shit.
That's why I don't understand, like, you're living on the bright side of life bullshit.
I'm glad we could change your mind, Emir.
Because this whole thing was crap. I felt so bad when I was like 2 matches and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm making these guys actually watch this shit. Like, now I have to pick another good one for the next week's show because everything after this show is going to be better than this show. Let's just say that. Any other show we watch after this is going to be better. We could watch a Vince Russo era WCW pay-per-view, and it will probably be better than this show.
Well, the thing is, we're a retro show. This is called Retro Rewind, but we only went to 2005.
which is hold on. I'm so glad you brought that up.
But we figured, okay, come on. Moses said, let's try something different. Let's start off with the first one. It's the new year. We're on January 1st. Why not just throw this out there? Why don't we just take a New Year's revolution?
I figured what better way? You do the first show, you do the first one of its thing. If I knew it was going to be this kind of shit, I would have definitely planned like an NWA show. I definitely would have planned a early 90s Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels kind of feel.
That would have been so awesome.
So,
But-
with that being said, I'm going to make this clear. We've discussed this before. We're all going to change. Like, somebody's going to pick a different show, but the next week I'm going to be responsible for that one as well. But from this day forward, if it is before the year 2000, it is not. It is a retro show. Nothing before the year 2000. So everything from 99 prior is what we're going to start covering.
Wait a second. We're in 2019. Why don't we go anything closer within 15 years is not retro.
So anything past 2004.
We're going to do this. We might as well start at 99 and just say anything before 99 we'll start watching.
We could do that. I'm perfectly okay with that.
He's just saying that because he managed to save the Attitude Era with that.
That's the point. You got to save the Attitude Era. You got to bring it in.
Let's not get crazy.
Well, I mean, truth be told, I'm not going to reveal.
Come on, because there was some very, very classic ECW pay-per-views.
Oh, no, absolutely. ECW is definitely on the list. There's going to be some actual 90s New Japan that's going to be on the list. Some great matches then. Even some 80s New Japan. I'm looking at NWA. We're looking all over the joint. So like I said, once I get my pick out next week, I guess we're going to do something to figure out who's going to pick the next one. But every week we're going to change it up. We're not going to stick with NWA or WWF or WCW. We're going to go all over the spectrum. So, speaking of all over the spectrum, since we passed over this match because it was just the most god-awful. Speaking of god-awful, we went from this to a pretty okay backstage segment with Batista talking to Randy Orton, telling him that, do you want to be his lapdog? Do you want to kiss his ass or do you want to kick it? Like, that was my favorite line. And then we get the
best line.
And then we get the shittiest match before the other match that was shittier than Holy Hell. And that's Kane versus Snitsky. For a big man match, it was okay.
You know what? I messaged you this, and I told you. I said, like, it's exactly what JR said. It was a good old slobber knocker.
Also, just if you look at this match like this, when I watched this match, I just went, oh, this is just Kane versus Braun Strowman. That's exactly what it is.
No. What?
No.
Braun Strowman is 7 times more athletic than Snitsky. Every time I look at Snitsky...
That's like saying this was like the Great Khali, like, Kane or The Undertaker.
But Paul Morales and Moses Marquez, when it comes to Gene Snitsky, we all know it's not his fault.
His whole life isn't his fucking fault. Now, that's not my goddamn problem. But
I
had to watch him.
Hang up on him.
My son was watching the pay-per-view with me, and he said he looked at Snitsky and he said, "Why is his body so big compared to his head?" I had no answer. I was like, I don't know.
It's from all the fucking steroids.
Yeah, exactly. It's performance-enhancing drugs. It wasn't steroids. They were performance-enhancing drugs.
Whatever. Human growth. Whatever the fuck. All I know is for this gigantic guy, he moves like shit. Fucking up spots left and right.
I believe this was before Kane actually had his plastic surgery.
I think you're right.
Because his eyebrows, if you look at him now, at the way his forehead is, he actually had his head pushed upward.
Yeah, that was another thing that my son pointed out. He was like, "Hey, is his head okay?" And then I was just thinking, again,
nothing about this man is okay.
And I was trying to find the good things and ignore the bad things. And one of the good things,
where's the fun in that?
Damn it, it was good to see some pyro.
It was, though. I will definitely agree with that. Pyro.
No. Batista came out and there was no damn pyro. What the hell?
That was before he was that Batista. That wasn't that version.
I was going to say the same thing.
He did the whole, gun thing, and then before it, and he was like, there was nothing.
Edge had no pyro either, but that was before he was the rated R superstar.
And it was a fucking chamber match. Nobody got pyro for the chamber match. Not even Jericho.
Shawn Michaels got pyro.
Oh, well, see, that's what happens
Yeah,
when you
how
don't
the
pay
hell
attention to
Shawn
most people's
Michaels get
interests.
pyro and not anybody else gets pyro?
Because it's
How the hell
Shawn
does that
fucking
happen?
Michaels. It's fucking Shawn Michaels. If anybody's getting pyro, it's got to be just fucking Shawn Michaels. Maybe that's when they were starting to cut the budget. Okay, who's getting pyro? Who's not getting pyro? Shawn Michaels, you're the man. You're getting
Yeah,
fucking pyro. Everybody else, suck a dick.
No, you guys are wrong. It's just that they weren't. It wasn't that version of Batista yet. It
He was
wasn't.
still
the
trying to
Edge.
pay off all the money that he lost during the XFL.
These guys were young. Like they just weren't that version yet. They weren't at the point where they had pyro. But Kane, he had pyro.
What
and
about
then
Orton and his like falling sparkles?
Okay, they didn't give those.
Yeah,
to Randy Orton.
those weren't even there. It was a pay-per-view. What are they gonna do? Burn the freaking plants, the plastic plants that are there?
All right, can we
Yes.
mention this though? Okay, so you said it's a pay-per-view. Tell me you guys don't miss the time back in the day where there was a unique stage for every pay-per-view instead of just changing the fucking title.
I know. Instead of just intertwining
Like a new
Raw
logo.
and SmackDown stage.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's the Raw stage, but because we put up a logo that says, Elimination Chamber or whatever, the only time they make
Yeah,
a
and
stage
I
now
get
is WrestleMania, but everything else is like, it all look. But back then, look at that New Year's Revolution stage. I was like, yo, I forgot. Everything used to be so unique for every pay-per-view.
Exactly. And I
used to
didn't
be.
care that they walked in, ground level. I didn't care. At least there was a couple of little stands on the outside that had a little bit of LED lights. You had the big Jumbotron. You had a couple of them on the side. Fine. It didn't need to be this big old extravaganza. But now it's just like, we'll just repurpose and reuse, our Raw and SmackDown.
Well, yeah, Vince is about to die. They got to start saving money somehow. What else? How else are they gonna fucking run the company once he's dead? They're fucking saving all the pennies they can now.
Exactly. Once he's dead, somebody's got to keep the money, right? So.
I mean, with Shane jumping off shit left and right, who God only knows how long he's gonna be around.
Right. Exactly. So let me tell you a little bit of fast forward on this feud between Kane and Snitsky. From my notes, 2 weeks later, they were in a match. No holds barred. Kane won.
Kicked
Threw
the baby.
Snitsky off the stage. 2 weeks after that, it was them again. This time in a steel cage match, which ended the feud. And it was in a steel cage match, and Kane chokeslammed Snitsky from, I guess, somewhere near the cage or somewhere off the cage or something like that.
Kick the baby.
Yeah, and then that was the whole feud. That was basically, it was like this, them getting married, him saying it wasn't his fault of killing the baby, and then
But he
4 or
kicked
5
the baby.
matches that they had, and Kane won them all. That was that. That was
Did
the
I
whole
mention
feud.
that he kicked the baby?
No,
can't
remember
get over
he
that.
pushed.
That is the only thing I remember from this
He
feud.
fell on, and Kane fell on top of Lita.
Okay, that part I remember now that you tell me, but I don't remember any part of it other than the fact that he kicked the fucking baby. They had a shitty feud. He interrupted the wedding when Trish was out in her white get down because those two fucking stories, intertwined with each other. And then now they have this fucking match, and it was exhausting to watch. These guys went like
and
17 minutes.
They had an intergender match too. Lita and Kane
that's
and,
right, Snitsky and
Trish
Trish.
Stratus and Snitsky, like not even a few weeks before, when she had her face mask on.
Yeah, I do remember that one. It was just a regular match on Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was just a regular match on Raw.
Oh, this fucking
Before
show.
you ask, I give it a 1. I still like Kane. I still think he was sort of still the big red machine. He did the whole sit up like Undertaker, classic shit.
Yeah, he set up and like the Undertaker, then he got kicked in the face, and then he set up and got kicked in the face, and they went like, let's just do this 12 more times.
Yeah, that's pretty much about it. So, Emir, how many stars?
How many times should I do this again? One more time?
One more
One more time, right? One more. Wait. One more.
Hey, one more time? No.
Good measure? One more.
Okay, take it home. Okay. So I gave it 2.
I think one more.
I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
I gave it 2 stars.
Uh.
I mean, like I said, I like the big men match. It was okay. It sucked. But I mean, like, it's impressive every now and again seeing big power slams, fighting the choke slams off. When they weren't fucking shit up, it was good. So that's the only reason I gave it 2. Kane's awesome. Snitsky can fuck off. I'm so glad he's not wrestling anymore.
Yeah, thank God.
So
thank you for old age.
Thank God. Yeah, seriously, except for the fact that the last time we saw him, he looked just as big as fucking Braun Strowman, but he's just roiding himself out. So, I mean,
yeah, well,
you might as well fucking look like him.
He ain't in WWE anymore, so it don't matter.
So I got to bring up the best part of this whole show, and that was a promo for an ECW video. And then the King is back, and they're announcing they're going over the whole like backstage segments with the divas like rubbing oil and shit on each other, which we already saw before they replayed most of it. Some fucking random jabron pushes some chubby guy into the pool, and then they have a goddamn chicken fight. It's like Val Venus. I couldn't tell you how all the guys over there. It was Val Venus, Hurricane Helms, Rosie. I think it was. I don't even know. All I know is this was the best part of the entire show.
Wasn't it the guy that was the space cadet or something like that? The guy that was fucking crazy. They were a tag team together. Him and the other guy. Fucking, I can't even remember his damn name. That's how much I didn't care about his character or him.
Fucking space cadet.
I know he was in WCW before he came over.
There's a bunch of these fucking guys that were in WCW before they came over, and I couldn't tell you who the hell they were.
Yeah, it was at the latter. It was it was the invasion part, the end of WCW. They were bought out. It was just a bunch of crackheads, and they didn't get all the great wrestlers, i.e. Sting. I digress.
Sting.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's forever going to perturb me because they had their chances to get him in the company, and they let it go. They dropped the ball.
They didn't want to pay the man.
I digress. Yeah, exactly.
That's the unfortunate thing that it is now. They didn't want to pay him then, but if you are paying attention to what's going on, especially if you're listening to the gorilla position, like Emir and I do all the time, they are just going after everybody. There are just random indie guys right now that are going to be like the biggest indie name in about 6 months because there are no other big indie names left out there because they're being signed left and right. Because that's just all of a sudden what it has to be. You bring in everybody, nobody has competition anymore. So
yeah, and I get it. They're trying to suffocate, And I had just watched a video about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I just happened to deal with British wrestling and how it's being absorbed by NXT UK, by basically everything the WWE is trying to do. They're trying to suffocate out. That's why they're trying to branch out to New Japan. That's why they're trying to bring in guys from TNA that just don't want to be there anymore. And a lot of these guys are actually seen. And I agree with Emir. I honestly do. Once all elite wrestling begins and starts to later on this year, I believe, starts to get up and going, I think they're gonna do big things. I honestly do, because they're gonna corner a market that WWE is not allowing other companies to do. Basically, they're trying to absorb all these guys. I still wish they would have kept up with maybe the NWA, since Billy Corgan is doing really good things there. In a short time here, and another week or so, James Storm and Nick Aldis are going for the NWA title. James Storm is challenging Nick Aldis for the NWA title, and I still think James Storm still has some gas in that tank to do big things still.
No, I agree. NWA is doing big things. They're no longer they're no longer like the promotion of old, you know what I mean, where it was only brought up as like, oh, if you're not watching like the 80s stuff, then you didn't bring up NWA. NWA is slowly starting to build something again. Nick Aldis being current champion, guys like Willie Mack being their was it American champion or something like that? I forgot what they named that title. But
North American champion.
Is it a North American? So,
no, it's not North American. I forgot what the hell it was, champion. But it's something that has. I know it's an equivalent to what it is in NXT.
I believe
North
it was
American
called the
Championship
national
is what it is
champion.
in NXT, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the NXT belt. And by the way, that belt looks very strange.
It's very old school. I wouldn't call it
which one? The
strange.
NWA one?
No, the NXT one, the North American.
I like the
Championship
NXT one.
I actually like it. Yeah, that's how I envision the NWA one, because the NWA one is just the United States on a red belt.
Yeah, it looked kind of
And
weird.
it has a couple little emblems on the side, and it's a red belt. And I'm gonna keep emphasizing that it's a red belt.
Definitely.
It's a red belt.
Red belt. All right. Enough with these red belts. So it's main event time. The Elimination Chamber match. Batista, Chris Benoit, Edge, Triple H, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, special guest referee Shawn Michaels, and then out comes Eric Bischoff to, I guess, talk about how dangerous the Elimination Chamber is, which we already fucking knew, and then he welcomes everyone to New Year's Revolution. If the show just fucking started, what the hell was I watching for 2 hours, you piece of shit?
Yeah, man.
That's what I was saying. That is exactly what I was saying. Why the hell are you going to come out there at the last match and announce, welcome to New Year's Revolution?
Oh, yeah, you guys are wrong again. And here's why.
God.
You can't question why a guy would come out on the final match and welcome everybody to the pay-per-view.
I'm not questioning him, but why are you doing it now?
When his music states that he's back, and he's been back for 3 years already. None of it makes any sense, okay?
No, that's called overlooking it. He welcomed me to a show I've been watching for 2 fucking hours.
Oh, hey!
And then the goddamn
hey,
entrance just took 25 minutes.
Welcome to Retro Rewind, Mir. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, welcome to Retro. We're a fucking hour and 10 minutes in. Welcome to the fucking show.
You start welcoming us. Hey, how you doing? You know, this is
episode
Amir,
1.
Costello.
Oh my god.
That's Moses Marquez over there.
All I know is when I heard that, I was absolutely and totally infuriated.
I'm back.
What the fuck?
I'm back, bitches.
Oh, that's right. Paul's back, bitches. God, I love it. Okay, so I got to make this comment. We were actually talking about the whole rated R superstar thing. Was that already? Did that already fucking happen? Because when I heard the Alter Bridge music, I was like, this shit's already here. Like, I know he retired in like 2010 or whatever, but or was it that soon?
You mean the whole you think you know me?
Yeah, I love that music, but I had no idea he had it this early in his run.
Still one of my favorite. Still one of my favorite theme songs.
Oh no, top 10 for sure.
Yeah, it's in my top 5. It's in my top 5. That's just that. Still one of my favorites.
And then I have to point out Chris Jericho looking young as holy fuck in this match.
Oh, right.
Wow. Like, watching him now in New Japan and seeing him in this match, I was like, what fucking year am I in? Like, I understand this is like 14 years back, but it felt like 25 years back. Like,
listen,
we were supposed to review 2005, right? Yeah. It was 2005, right?
What year am I in? When I was like, oh,
I know. What year are you in? Huh?
They actually showed Chris Benoit's face. What year was this?
Right.
First off, I gotta say this, and I don't care how much heat I get because of it. I still get goosebumps every time that fucking music hits and he walks to the fucking ramp. I don't care what he did. I don't care. I love
There's
the man.
no holding me back. I love that song.
That's like the perfect song to work out to, by the way. Just don't go home and
you know, I heard it, and I kid you not, the first image when they had them backstage, and no, at the beginning of in the opening, when they were doing like the backstories of everything and everybody that was going to be in the pay-per-view, I got chills, and not in the good way.
Really?
It just kind of freaked me out, because it's like, I know what you did.
Oh, you.
And as much as I thought, now don't get me. Now I'm gonna agree with Moses. He was a great wrestler. I still think he was one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of wrestling, and I still think that.
No,
But
I do too.
in my eyes, it's still what you did to your family, and that's the chill.
It's hard to overlook that kind of thing. It really
It's
is. Like I
even
said,
yeah, it's crazier that you're watching it now, all these years later, and you're looking at him, realizing that he has no idea that a short time from then he's gonna murder his family and kill himself. You know what I mean?
Well, he's gonna lose his best friend.
Right.
His best friend's gonna have a heart attack, and I think that was the other thing that and at some point in time this year, we're gonna do an Eddie Guerrero one, and if I'm gonna pick, it's gonna be when he beat Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry. If anything, I'm gonna pick that one.
well, fucking
Because
spoilers.
because I already know I'm gonna cry, and I'm man enough to admit it, because he's still my favorite of all time.
I'll jump on that bandwagon. I can't have you standing alone on that one every single time. It's been 13 years. Every time I see that memorial, promo that they show, the memorial video, I can't help it. I tear up. The guy meant so much, and he was gone at the worst time. Like everybody talks about the face of the company, the face of the company, the face of the company. This guy could have easily been that face of the company for years.
Okay, now that we already went through that way. Okay. Yeah, he was just that to me, and he's always going to be my favorite all time.
I'm sure we all agree on that.
Now that we got on the off, through the somber part. Okay, now back to the pay-per-view.
Back to the pay-per-view. Jericho and Benoit start this whole thing out, and the first 5 minutes, it was just them in the singles. It was great. That could have been the main event, and I would have been happy, because that was great. And then it
took me back to WCW.
It did.
It took me back to them in WCW. Yes, it did.
It did, but I felt like it was like they had a little bit more freedom than they would in WCW. But I don't know. I think the thing that killed me about WCW is their commentary really sucked. That brought a lot of stuff down.
The TV, push mute. I don't care. Just watch the match.
If I would have known that many years back, maybe I would have tried it.
Where they fought each other, pick any episode of Nitro where they wrestled each other, just push mute. Tony Schiavone was good, but he was never great.
Tony Schiavone towards the end was completely over his job, and he did not care if he got fired or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got to keep on this match, because otherwise we're gonna go all over the place, especially with the older stuff. Considering we are the retro show, but I mean, the chops. Can we just say it brought back just fond memories, and maybe even brought a smile to your face when you hear Chris Benoit land those thick, loud chops?
How about the fact that all throughout this pay-per-view, not just the main event, but throughout the entire pay-per-view, there was so much human blood spilled, and not one pair of white gloves came out.
Exactly.
The match didn't stop. Nobody had to be sewn up. There was no medical kits. It was just like every match. Now, by the way, I enjoyed all the blood because we don't get it. But looking at it from like the standpoint of a fan in 2005, you might go, really? Does everybody need to bleed?
Well, my whole thing is does everybody need to fucking pour blood? Because every single one of them was a blade job. Every single one of them was a blade job. And, like, Benoit, it looked bad because I think it had just been sitting there and it got bad. And then at one point of the match, and then I'm already jumping way ahead, at one point of the match when Triple H is bleeding, it looked like it was just pulsating out of his fucking forehead, and he's just spitting it all over the place like he's taking a shower in his own blood. It was kind of gross.
You know what? The funny thing is that you talk about that. He'd hit his head, even though it wasn't, it wasn't intentional when Randy Orton threw him into the gate. He literally smacked his forehead and face literally into it, and it cut him even more.
That's Triple H for you, the extra seller.
Cut in the beginning, he hit that thing hard, and I think he was trying to stop himself, but I think because of how hard Randy Orton threw him, he hit that thing hard, and it was just like you just see his head hit, and then him fall back, and then there was more blood, and it was like, ow! You felt for him because you see it just as his heartbeat, it was coming out.
No, it definitely was. It was brutal. Every chance Triple H had a chance to slam his own face into the cage, he took it, taking slingshots from guys like Jericho and Benoit, and it just hitting them all over the place. Taking numerous back body drops onto the steel. I mean, if anybody was taking the grunt of this match, it was definitely Triple H, and it just goes on and on and on. Orton comes in. He's finally out of. Let's see. First guy out of their pod was it Edge? It was Edge. Oh no, Triple H actually. Triple H, first guy out of his pod. He's able to just run wreck house, shuts everybody down, pretty much takes over. And then all of a sudden, in comes Edge. Edge is on fire, taking everybody out, hitting back body drops, belly to belly suplexes, just going nuts. The match gets to, it turns out to be really good. Everybody's into it. Orton comes out next. It's a melee of 4 different guys. Everybody's going crazy. It's not up until who am I thinking? Who was the not Batista? Who came out before Batista?
Randy Orton.
Okay, so no, so then it was Batista then. So about the time when Batista came into the match, then that's when it picked up.
No, Batista came out last, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's when it really started to pick up. It was good though. They were brawling, but I mean, when the match getting down to the nitty gritty, Batista comes in and pulls full on Roman Reigns mode, just wiping out everybody, no selling everything. He fucking eliminates Chris Benoit by slamming Chris Jericho on top of him. It was great.
Before Benoit and Jericho both eventually got eliminated, the best part was Triple H being put in the walls of Jericho and the crippler crossface at the same time. And then, that was awesome. Yeah, the edge of the seat moment where it's like, is he gonna tap?
So much time.
But I was thinking because I was trying to anticipate Batista turning on Triple H, and they're like, he just has to hold on until Batista can get out the pod. And I'm like, is he even going to help him? And then when the timer went off, the referee couldn't even get the lock off the pod, and I was like, oh, this is crazy.
That's what I thought too. I not remembering at the time, of course, you're thinking, well, this is it. This is the moment where all this goes bad, and this is where the turn was. And it was like, nope. Once he got free, he helped him. I mean, it felt like they fucked up trying to get the chain out or something, and it just took forever. It felt like they were kind of stalling. It's kind of shitty, but, I mean, it made up for it once Batista got out, got free, went crazy. Speaking of people going crazy, JR screaming, sharpshooter, sharpshooter, sharpshooter. It's just the greatest. It brought back so many memories. Him getting hyped up for the match is why we all love Morrow so much. Is because it reminds us of how JR used to.
I would love, in honesty, if when SmackDown does go to Fox, I would love to have Morrow.
As would I.
I would love him as
Morrow did very well as the lead commentator of SmackDown while he had the job, but they felt like, oh, holy shit, you're too much of a wrestling commentator for us to have you here. You go on down to NXT where they actually believe it's wrestling. And it's like, That's why we're stuck with Tom Phillips. I have no problem with Tom Phillips. I have no problem with Tom Phillips. I have a problem with Byron Saxton. And that he's terrible at everything he does in life.
Oh, the Emir of the commentary table.
That's well, yeah. If we're going that route, I guess I'd rather. I guess I'm Michael Cole. That's not terrible.
Yeah, you're Michael Cool.
Jesus fuck.
Don't worry about it. I'll do
What
Corey
have I
Graves. Don't
done
worry
with my
about
life?
it. I'll make fun of everybody.
There we go. There we got the Corey Graves of the group. So I mean, this match was just. If it wasn't for this match, this entire pay-per-view would have been a 100% dud, a full-on dud. This match just. Benoit gets eliminated first, and then Jericho goes, and then Batista gets taken out. It comes down to Orton and Triple H, and of course, Evolution gets involved. Batista is holding Shawn Michaels. He can't make the cover after the RKO. In comes Ric Flair. Shawn Michaels knocks out Ric Flair, which was awesome, but ends up hitting the pedigree. 1, 2, 3, Triple H, your new World Heavyweight Champion. And
I had a question. I'm sorry about this, guys.
Go ahead.
I see this happen all the time with Triple H and some of the other wrestlers. But when you're Triple H and you pull Randy Orton's ass cheeks out for the whole world to see, is that a rib? Like, he understands that he's exposing Randy Orton's cheeks, right?
He knows he's a pretty guy and everybody wants to fuck him. So what better way to want to fuck him more than to show off the nice cheeks, Everybody's got to look at the nice cheeks. Because deep
like
down it is not Billy Gunn who is the ass
Randy
man.
Orton's attitude.
It is Triple H.
Then when Triple H won the match and he instructs Batista, put me up on your shoulders, I thought, okay, good. Batista's going to give the thumbs down to Rick, and he's going to drop Triple H the same way that they did to Randy. And I'm like, here comes the turn, here comes the turn. And then it never happened.
Completely left with a boner in my hand. It's exactly how I felt when he did not drop him in the electric chair position. It is what it is.
Right.
But like I said, 4-star match. I will give it 4 stars. Definitely entertaining. I was not bored of it by any means. It was great.
I will agree with that one.
All right, so that's 2-4. Emir, where are you at with this one? You could actually be positive about this match because the rest of it was shit. This one wasn't.
I'm going to give this match, for me, it was a 5-star match. I have no regrets about saying that. And you know what else? I really loved the part. Dude, that sweet chin music that Sean hit on Edge was solid as fuck.
Solid as fuck is an understatement. It was awesome. You want to know what else was awesome? Chris Jericho selling the pedigree. That was awesome. He looked like he was dead. His fucking bloody face just pops up and just plow right on the canvas. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Yep.
That's not Chris Jericho in New Japan. That's some other fucking jabron. Chris Jericho's right there and he's dead.
Yeah, I enjoyed the main event, and the reason why I got to give it a 5 is because, I fancy myself a smart mark.
Hey.
But I couldn't call it. I was like, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and it kept me guessing. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I was entertained from start to finish. And the story, that's the thing. This main event actually had a legit story behind it. They told a great story in the ring. They promoted the main event all night throughout the pay-per-view, and it culminated in a perfect 5-star match for me. And I was like, good. This. I wish all matches were like this.
Yeah, you know what? It was hands down probably one of the better elimination chambers that I've seen.
I'm not going to disagree.
I'm not going to say it was the best one, but I'm just saying it was one of the best ones that I've seen.
No, there have been some bad elimination chambers in the years that match has been around. This was definitely not one of the bad ones. It was good. The pay-per-view did not live up to the main event. So with that, I give it a thumbs in the middle as a okay show. I might never watch it again, and that's okay with me.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it too. At least, if anything, I'm just going to watch the elimination chamber match. If anything, I'll fast forward all the way to whatever, a half hour before the pay-per-view ends, which is pretty much the whole length of the elimination chamber.
Exactly. That's about it. So again, thumbs in the middle for me. What about you guys? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
I think that in spite of all the things that were bad, the things that were bad in the way that it made me laugh, and the things that were good brought back fond memories, and the things that were great made me feel like this is why I'm a wrestling fan. So overall, I will give it a thumbs up.
Oh, all right. Paul?
It's to me, it's in the middle because I think had Lita not gotten injured, I think they probably could have had a good match. Had they let Maven and Shelton Benjamin have an actual match instead of whatever the fuck they had.
They had a shit show.
I think it was just 2 pinfalls, 7 seconds. It was a piece of shit. Don't get me started on Hassan and Lawler. Like I said, if it wasn't for that Elimination Chamber, that was the only thing that saved it. And I agree with you. It's right in the middle.
Right in the middle, indeed. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap this one up. This is episode 1 of the RWT's Retro Rewind in the books. 2 thumbs in the middle and a thumbs up from somebody who's kind of overthinking this, but that's okay because the next show we do, I assure you, thumbs up will be in order. I will not reveal said show. I will keep it a surprise. So stay tuned for that one. This will be a weekly thing starting, as you hear, from today, the 1st, and we will be bringing out an episode once a week following. You can catch a weekly episode of the Gorilla Position featuring Emir, Blackbane, Costello, and myself as we talk all the news and fun stuff going around all around the wrestling world. Paul, I'm so glad that you're back, dude. Thank you for being the 3rd for our show. I could not have thought of a better man. When Emir brought up the idea, I said if he's cool with it, then there's nobody else we need to talk to. And luckily for us, we didn't scare you, which is great.
I'm back.
Oh, there we go. That's going to be his thing. I should have cued the music.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to interrupt your song to just welcome everybody to the 1st episode of the RWT Retro Rewind.
You fuck, what the hell was I even doing for the last hour and a half? What the hell is going on?
Hey, anybody out there listening, you know what? Hey, welcome to the RWT, Retro Rewind. For those of you who didn't know what the hell we were doing, other than us, jabber-jawing back and forth, welcome.
Fucking welcome. Well, with the welcomes that come as they do, we are saying goodbye. So thanks again for listening to the RWT Retro Rewind. For Paul, for Emir, and for Moses, have a good night. We'll catch you guys next week.
Deuces. Peace.